Ashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. There also nityam, satatam, sarvada, sada, abhikshashaha. These terms have been used in Shastra for continuity. That one must hear Krishna Katha, one must chant the holy name, one must serve the Vaishnavas constantly without any break. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki apratihata. Again, without any break. And this is a known fact. Even Srila Prabhupada, when asked, Prabhupada said 99% Krishna conscious means 1% Maya conscious. So with that one little gap, Maya will enter, in as a needle, out as a plow. So as much as possible, one must be Krishna conscious. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says at least once a day. And our Srila Prabhupada said at least twice a day. And including brahmachari classes and other classes, 3 times a day, as many times as possible during the day. So Shrunvatam Shraddhaya Nityam. By hearing Krishna Katha, Shraddhaya, with faith, Nityam, every day, and Grihnatam cha Swacheshtitam, and making an attempt to use that in real life. Because I have seen this defect in my character also, that somehow the mentality to hear is there, but to ponder, to pause, to think, to apply is missing. So that is one thing that is very important. Mananam is very important. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is said, Tat Shrunvan Supatan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuche Naraha. That one must hear Krishna Katha, one must study what we have heard and contemplate on how to apply that in real life. Only then it is the fruit of listening. Just like Srila Prabhupada, when instructed about studying his books, the devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, I read your books. Prabhupada said, no, you should study my books. So similarly, there is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing, we are hearing so many sound vibrations, but listening means hearing with attention. So Shrunvatam, to hear, Shraddhaya, with faith. Shrunvatam Shraddhaya Nityam, continuously. I, in fact, have had the good fortune of meeting devotees who are so absorbed in hearing about Krishna that even when they are brushing their teeth, they're shaving, and even when they're taking a bath, they have a waterproof speaker. In America, I have had fortune of seeing such devotees. I was amazed. I was amazed. At 4:15 in the morning, I could hear blast Prabhupada class going on. I was amazed. I came to that house for the first time. I was thinking, where is the sound coming from? Then I got to know that there was a bathroom above and the devotee was bathing. And it was the speaker that was coming from the bathroom. And I offered my obeisances to that spirit itself of not losing touch with transcendental sound vibration, even while performing daily activities. So of course, we must have our regulated hearing where we sit down and hear. But at the same time, as much as possible, we must be Krishna conscious, even while performing daily chores. So therefore, we can see many Matajis, they're cooking for the deities, but class is going on. They're hearing in the right consciousness and they're cooking. Many Prabhujis who work like 10, 12 hours a day, unfortunately, they may have responsibilities of family life, 2, 3 kids also sometimes, and very wonderfully, they're taking care. So they're driving 45 minutes one way to work. And that time also class is going on. So they are driving and attentively hearing at that time also. Of course, it's not ideal. Ideal is to sit and hear, but they're trying to do the best that they can. So Shrunvatam, hearing about Krishna, Shraddhaya, with faith, Nityam, continuously, and Grihnatam cha Swacheshtitam, Swacheshtitam, in one's own activities, as much as possible to apply. If these principles are there, then Kalena, with time, Na ati dirghena, not with too much time into the future, which means very quickly. Bhagavan vishateridi, Krishna will enter the heart. It's very interesting. Krishna enters the heart and the door shuts behind, so he cannot leave now. And Pravishta Karanarendrena, Krishna enters through the ear hole. Pravishta Karanarendrena, Swanam Bhava Saroruham. He sits on the lotus of the devotional heart of the devotee. And Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna. Krishna, the all-attractive Lord, he cleans all the dirt. Salilasya Yatha Sharat. Just like we see sometimes when the room is very dirty, and there is a knock at the door, and we open the door and we see that there is a visitor who has come. So let's say the room is very dirty and there's a knock at the door and a visitor comes. We are very embarrassed to open our door because we are in the middle of the cleaning process and a visitor comes. And he may come and he may not say anything, but he will say, no, don't worry. I'm your friend. I understand the rooms can be dirty. He may not help in cleaning. And on the other hand, he may go out and tell others also that, oh, actually his house is very dirty or his room is very dirty. But if there is a knock at the door and if we understand that that's our best friend, what will he do? He will immediately pull up his sleeves and he will say, you give me also one broom and I will also clean up. And he will help clean up and he will not tell anyone that the room is very dirty. So why we're mentioning this is because our ear is like the door and heart is like the bedroom. It is very dirty. So as soon as we hear Krishna Katha, it is our ever well-wishing best friend, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, who's knocking at the door. So when we let him inside, he pulls up his sleeves. Instead of thinking, I am God and this is my devotee, it's his duty to serve me, Krishna himself picks up the broomstick and he starts cleaning the bedroom of the heart of the living entity. And most importantly, he helps clean and he will not tell anyone else, look, his heart is so dirty. I cleaned up his heart. Krishna will never say like that. So therefore, dhunoti sarvam hridhi sannivishta. Sitting in the heart, Krishna cleans up the consciousness. We cannot clean our consciousness. Only Krishna can. So when we let Krishna enter in three ways, through hearing Krishna Katha through the ear, chanting the holy name through the tongue, and through Bhagavat Mahaprasad. Srila Prabhupada said, Sevon mukhehi jivhadau swayam eva spuratyada. That by accepting only Krishna Prasad, chanting Krishna's holy name purely as much as possible, and hearing Krishna Katha, and not breaking any principle given in the Shastra. Because if we break some principle, then that's like a hole on the base of the bowl. We may receive a lot of nectar, but it seeps out also. So sealing that, if these three things are performed along with serving the Vaishnavas, then Krishna is very pleased. And it is described, Salilasi yatha sharat. Just like sometimes the ponds may be dirty, but if you let them pass through the monsoon rain, we know in Vrindavan there are many seasons, and one season is Varsha Ritu. And after Varsha Ritu comes Sharad Ritu, autumn season. So we can see sometimes the pond gets dry in the summer, and sometimes it gets very dirty with muddy pools. But if the monsoon rain sets in and it replaces all the muddy water, then when the Sharad Ritu, the autumn season sets in, we can see that the pond has become crystal clear. So this is why this example has been given. Sharad. Salilasya yatha Sharad. Just like in the autumn season, the ponds become clean post Varsha Ritu, post monsoon. So similarly, our hearts, which have been very dirty, sometimes empty because of the summer heat of distress in this world. Very interesting. Summer heat of distress in this world. I'm reminded of Sripad Madhvacharya's comment on the very famous Tadaiva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam Tadaiva Shashvat Manaso Mahotsavam Tadaiva Shokaranava Shoshanam Dranam Yad Uttama Shloka Yasho Nukiyate verse, where it describes that hearing about Krishna, it evaporates the ocean of distress in this world. Shokaranava Shoshanam. Shoka means distress or lamentation. Aranava means ocean. And Shoshanam means to take away. Tadaiva Shokaranava Shoshanam Nrinam. For all living beings, the ocean of distress in this world is taken away by the process of hearing. So Sripad Madhvacharya comments there. He says, is it too much atishayokti? Is it over-exaggeration that there is ocean of distress in the life of the living entity? Because sometimes living entities come and they say, yes, this is a place, dukhalem ashashvatam, but I am not so sad. I am pretty happy. Some people speak like that. So Sripad Madhvacharya has asked this question, that why is it called the ocean of suffering? That Krishna Katha evaporates. And does Krishna Katha actually evaporate the ocean of suffering is another question asked. So then he answers very mercifully that if we count the number of drops the living entity, conditioned living entity has cried in this world, Oh, it is an ocean. Over lifetimes, the living entity has cried, sometimes buckets also. People cry over a lost job. People cry over health problems. People cry over emotional concerns and financial problems and relationship problems and death, old age, disease, and every step, padam padam, yat vipadam na tesham. There is so much suffering in this world that the living entity has cried oceans of suffering. And when we hear about Krishna, what does Krishna do? Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu revana samshaya. Krishna evaporates all our trouble. He accepts us. No more repeated birth and death. No more repeated birth and death. And therefore, Krishna Katha and Krishna have completely taken away all the distress. So in this way, by hearing about Krishna, by chanting about Krishna, this is the greatest activity. This is the Jaiva Dharma. This is the eternal duty of the soul. There can be temporary dharmas, but this is the eternal dharma. Rai kahe prema bhakti sarva sadhyasar. Prabhu kahe iha bahya age kaho ar. After all the different steps of Varnashrama and even coming up to Nishkam Bhakti, Sripad Ramananda Rai says to perform loving devotional service to Krishna. This is in the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. This is the highest expression of devotion. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Iha uttam age kaho ar. Yes, this is perfect. Continue to speak. So this process of hearing is very, very important, most important. And we can see this in the highest conceptions. Even in Vrindavan, we can see that the famous past, again, talking about Sharad, in Sharad Purnima, we can see in the greatest pastime of Krishna dancing the Rasalila with the gopis, we can see Krishna played the flute and the gopis heard the sound vibration, and that's how they entered that position. So what is Krishna's flute manifested in this world? Krishna's flute manifests in this world as the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Krishna Katha. So Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila, when we hear, then we also, Mahaprabhu says, Ramya Kajid Upasana Vrajabadum Varghena Ya Kalpita. So in the mood of the gopis, following their footsteps, we should also hear Krishna Katha, which is the non-different manifestation of Krishna's flute. And by hearing Krishna Katha, we will also enter into that realm someday by their mercy, where we can do Rasalila. Rasalila means Harinam Sankirtan. To sing and dance with like-minded devotees, keeping Krishna in the center, hearing Krishna's flute sound, this is Rasalila. For us, this is Harinam Sankirtan. In fact, Sripad Amarendra Prabhu used to say something very, very beautiful. He used to say, how is book distribution and Harinam Sankirtan connected? He would say that Krishna teaches us personally. So Krishna's playing the flute and letting that flute sound reach all ends. So that is book distribution, he says. He says book distribution is Krishna's flute sound. What Prabhupada gave us, the printing press, the devotees have to take that flute sound from person to person. And when that person gets attracted by the sound of Krishna's flute in the form of Prabhupada's books, then they will desire to come in that association and sing and dance in Harinam Sankirtan. That is Rasalila. So very beautifully in our Sadhaka platform, these exalted pastimes have been presented by Sripad Amarendra Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So today, with that as the introduction, I would like to touch on one topic. Generally, we discuss Shikshashtakam and we go verse by verse, but I would like to take a little break on that theme. And today I would like to discuss the first verse of the Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nidra Chhadi Utho Jeev verse by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There are actually 8 verses in this song, and there are more than 100 songs that Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. But today we would like to touch the first verse and discuss some things about that verse. Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nidra Chhadi Utho Jeeva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Very beautiful song. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Nidra Chhadi Utho Jeev Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha. This song is so special, especially for all of us, because in our ISKCON Vrindavan for Mangalarati, we have Samsara Davanala, prayers at Prabhupada's Samadhi and Vibhavari Shesha in the presence of Radha Shyam Sundar Krishna Balram Gaur Nitai. So it's very important that we as ISKCON devotees, we take up to this song and study this song and sing with all our heart. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha. The night has come to an end and the early morning rays of the dawn sun are seen and the sky has been painted red like Udila Aruna, same mood, that the sky has been painted red or orange by the rising of the sun. And the night has ended. O living entity, Nidra Chhadi Utho Jeev. Give up your sleep and get up. Now there are two meanings to this. One is, of course, the direct meaning, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has told us to wake up in Brahma Muhurta. Very important. One Acharya, one very great Sri Sampradaya Acharya. I was once in South India and I happened to have his association. And he told something which stuck with me. He said that if somebody cannot respect Brahma Muhurta, they cannot respect Brahma. If you cannot serve Brahma Muhurta, you cannot serve Brahma. Brahma means the Supreme Lord ultimately, Parabrahma. So he said, everybody has a Muhurta. He said, there is Rahu Kal. Astrologically, there is the time for Rahu. So similarly, 24 hours is time for Krishna, but very specifically the Brahma Muhurta. Like for me now, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. I took this opportunity only because there is Krishna Katha. Otherwise, my beatback is next to me. So if we cannot respect Brahma Muhurta, we cannot respect and serve Brahma in any lifetime. There is no possibility of sleeping through Brahma Muhurta and getting Krishna. And especially for those who want to have high character with respect to celibacy and detachment in this world, sleeping during that time is the worst thing we can do to our spiritual life. So the direct meaning that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying is that Nidra Chhadi Utho Jeev. Living entity, please wake up. Please wake up. Don't sleep so much. Wake up. This is the direct meaning. And he says that, look at the sky. The night has ended. Even birds are chirping. Why shouldn't humans chirp? Humans should also get up and chirp the holy name. If birds are teaching us, like in the 11th canto, we can see, we can learn from everyone. We can find the Avanti Brahmana teaching, the Avadut. We can see the Dattatreya teaching. So similarly, if the birds are waking up and they're also doing their sounds, they're also chanting the holy name. Shuka bole Hari Hari, Sari bole Hari Hari. In that song, we can see when animals are chanting, birds are also singing the holy name. So the direct meaning is we should wake up. The night has ended. The early morning sun has risen. And wake up, and the living entity is asking Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then wake up and do what? He says, bolo. Bolo. Bolo what? And then from there, Hari Hari onwards up to Manasa Chandra Chakora in the 8th stanza are only beautiful, wonderful arrangements of the holy name of Krishna. In Shastra, there is a very beautiful verse that Sulabham Bhagavan Nama Jivhacha Vashavartini Tathapi Narakan Yantim Kimascharyamatah Param. That we know the verse Ahani Ahani Bhutani, that the greatest Ascharya in this world is living entities. Left, right, center, they leave their body. And those who are remaining behind, they think, I will live forever. Especially during COVID time, this was a shocking display of this verse, where everybody was thinking, yes, others are getting COVID and they are all leaving their body, but I will live long. I will take 2 vaccines and I will live long. So, but greater Ascharya than this is Sulabham Bhagavan Nama. The names of the Lord are so simple, easy to utter. They're present in the Shastras, present in the preaching of the sadhus. It is present in all the temples, in all the sampradayas, in all the parts of India. We can hear Ram Krishna Hari Kirtan going on. So Sulabham Bhagavan Nama. And what is the apparatus? What is the instrument needed to attain, to get that name? Jivha, the tongue. Vashavartini, and that tongue is under our control in the mouth. It's not that, oh, I forgot my tongue in the closet. I forgot my tongue at home. I cannot chant. Jivhacha Vashavartini. Wherever we go, the tongue is there. Krishna has fit it so wonderfully in our mouth that wherever we go, the tongue is there. Gauranga Prabhu gives a very beautiful story that one time one South Indian man came to an ISKCON temple, and the temple was being built, and Srila Prabhupada asked him, "How did you find the temple?" And typically in South India, you can see that the temples always have a bell in the entrance of the temple. So the South Indian Brahmana, he was an older person. He said, "Srila Prabhupada Swamiji, everything is perfect, but there is no bell." And Prabhupada said, South Indian temples means one bell. ISKCON temples means many bells. All the tongues of the devotees are bells, and they're constantly ringing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Sulabham Bhagavan Nama, Jivvacha Vashavartini, Tathapi Narakanyantim Kim Ashcharyamataha Para. Oh. आश्चर्यमेतद्धि मनुष्यलोके सुधां परित्यज्य विषं पिबन्ति नामानि नारायण गोचराणि त्यक्त्वा अन्यवार्ता कुहकां पठन्ति यन्न व्रजन्त्यकविदो व्रचनानुवादात् शृण्वन्ति ये अन्य विषयाकु कथामतिग्नि. So many verses in Shastra which describe that it is certainly astonishing and shocking how living entities can go to hell. Jivva na vakti bhagavad guna namadheyam, 6th canto, another verse, that if we don't chant the holy name, we will definitely adho gacchanti tamasa. We will go down. So we can avoid that by waking up in Brahma Muhurta and for nice 1.5, 2.5, 3 hours, as many hours as possible to chant with all our heart, calling out to Krishna. And if we do that, that is the perfect utilization of the tongue. Pibare Ramarasam, Rasane Pibare Ramarasam. Pibare Ramarasam. One Acharya from South India, he writes, Rasane, O tongue, Pibare Ramarasam. Please drink the nectar of Sri Rama's holy name. Dhanyaste kritino pibanti satatam Sri Rama Namamritam. One Vedanta Desikar, in his commentary, he writes that glorious are those tongues which are constantly chanting the holy name. So same thing Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, that Mukunda Madhava Yadav Hari, Bolo Re Bolo Bhai Vadana Bhari. Fill your mouth and constantly chant from Hari Hari to Manasa Chandra Chakora. So this is the first meaning, that the night has ended and the day has begun. So that is the direct description of the time. Another meaning is Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nidra Chadi Utoji. Night means all the other species that we have transmigrated through. That is darkness. That is night. Jalajanava Stavara Lakshavimshati, all these different 8.4 million species, keeping away the human, so the 8 million species, and also the human species where we have taken without Krishna consciousness. This is darkness, complete avidya. Ajnana timihi andhasya jnananjana shalakaya, the darkness of ignorance. So that is the night. Sometimes we have crawled, sometimes we have swam, sometimes we are flying. Sometimes we are walking on 4 legs. The soul is transmigrating through these bodies, and that's all considered to be night. But fortunately now, Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahusam bhavante manusyamarthadam anityam apiha dhira turnam yateta napateta numrityu yavad nishreyasaya vishayam khalu sarvatasyat durlabho manavo deho dehinam kshanabhangura Tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priyadarshanam nrideha madhyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam maya anukulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdim nataretsa atma kaumaramacharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham deham tadapi arthadam adruvam tat prayaso na kartavyo yatha ayu vyaya param na tatha vindate kshemam mukunda charanambujam. So many verses in Shastra, 11th canto, 7th canto, all describe the glory of the human form, that we should never let it go. This human form is rarely attained birth, rarely attained. Therefore, tat prayasaha na kartavyaha. We should not act in a way that our human breath is wasted. Every breath must be offered. One great devotee from North India writes that Krishna, devotees have made garlands of flower. I want to make garland of breath and fill your holy name in each breath and give you a garland at your lotus feet or around your neck. I want to make a garland of my breath, which means not waste a single moment. Avyartha kalatvam. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said Another meaning that the night has ended. Oh, living entity, how great is it that the dawn rising sun of the human form, right in your childhood, you have attained this. Now get up. Nidra chadi utho jeev. The ahara nidra bhaya maitunam from last lives, regulate that. Nidra chadi and utho jeev. Wake up, jump from the bed of avidya and constantly chant Krishna's holy names. This is the only thing. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha shamanastam namami harim param. This is the only thing that will help us. Dukkha shamanam. By chanting and offering obeisances, there will be destruction of distress. One time I asked my Guru Maharaj that on this verse, I said, Shastra says that pranamo dukkha shamanas. By offering obeisances, our suffering will go away. So how do I understand this? I requested. So my Guru Maharaj explained that the main reason why we suffer in this world is because of false ego. Main reason. The problem is inside. By offering obeisances, we will consider everybody better than us because we are constantly bowing down. And humility will develop. And this is the Ramban, he said. This is the main arrow of Sri Ram, the solution, main solution, root solution to all problems. By offering repeated obeisances, humility will develop. We will consider the other person better than us. That's why we are offering obeisances. And that dissolves the false ego and all problems will be gone. So Guru Maharaj explained Nam and Pranam. He poetically put it like that. Nam, which means the holy name, and Pranam, through the body. So constantly chanting Krishna's name, offering obeisances and serving the Vaishnavas. This is the offering of the body. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that wake up and chant as far as time is concerned. Wake up and chant as far as ability is concerned, human form is concerned. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Now is the time not to be lazy. Now is not the time to be distracted. Now is not the time to waste for temporary fleeting material pleasure, which will be taken away anyway. Now is the time for the Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varanni Bodhata. Kathopanishad describes now is the time to not just wake up from the bed, but wake up in consciousness and attain what is to be attained. Okay, so that is the theme of the whole song. And at the end, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Nama Sudarasa, Gao Krishna Yasha, Rakho Vachana Manamur. As instruction to all of us, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Nama Sudarasa, Gao Krishna Yasha. Constantly sing Krishna's glories in the form of his names, Krishna Katha, preaching, etc. Some people take it to other extreme and they're chanting all day. And when you ask them about spreading Krishna consciousness, preaching Krishna consciousness, they say, no, it is to, first I will become pure. I will constantly chant 2 lakh, 3 lakh, etc. holy names. And then I will become pure. Then I will preach. But these are not conceptions that our Prabhupada gave. Prabhupada, yes, Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Paro Upakar means you practice and you spread. When will we preach otherwise? When will we spread Krishna consciousness? Even Prahlad Maharaj, he says that Naivodvijay Paraduratya Yavaitaranyas Tvatvirya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chitta. I have no worry about myself. I will chant the holy name, but I am concerned mainly about the conditioned souls. So even Krishna Katha, even preaching is considered to be Nam Sankirtan. It is Guna Sankirtan. So in this way, one should not take separate meaning out of this discussion. One should chant one's japa. The main thing is one should not waste one's time. One should serve manasa, vachasa, and through dehena, through one's body, as much as possible, spreading Krishna consciousness, connecting more living entities, and getting nourished on the path of bhakti. His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, after his Brahmin initiation, one very nice devotee, fixed up devotee here, after his Brahmin initiation, he asked his Guru Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, what is the instruction? Maharaj said, taste the sweetness of Krishna consciousness and spread it around in this world. Janma sarthaka kari kara para upakar. Without tasting, what can we share? But at the same time, it's not that we taste, and we forget to share. So taste the sweetness of Krishna consciousness and spread it in this world. So this is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Now we will spend some time about these words. Hari Hari, Mukunda, Murari, Rama, Krishna, Hayagriva. So many names are there. We will do a very quick, skimming, breezing discussion. The first word is Hari. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Hari Shabda Nana Artha Dui Mukhyatam. Sarva amangala hare prem diye hare man. That the word Hari has many, many meanings. And we can see that in Shastra, that the first meaning of the word Hari is a lion. In Sanskrit, the word Hari means a lion also. This is why we sing Jaya Nara Hari, Jaya Nara Hari. Narasimha is Nara Hari. Half man, half lion. Stambhe Sabhayam, na mrigam, na manusham. So Nara Hari. Hari means, of course, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, Mahavishnu. But at the same time, Hari also means a lion. So Nara Hari, half man, half lion. The example of this can be found in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he compares Mahaprabhu to be a lion, a golden lion. And he mentions that Mahaprabhu is a lion for 5 reasons. First reason, lion has a complexion like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will not say Mahaprabhu has a complexion like the lion. The lion in this world has some similarity in the form of the golden complexion. So the complexion is similar. Second, we can see just like the lion has hair coming up to the shoulder when he's walking. Similarly, Mahaprabhu's hair is also coming up to shoulder. Lion-like, Gaura Hari. This is why we say Gaura Simha or Gaura Hari. We sing Gaura Hari. One time His Grace Agnidev Prabhu, very legendary Kirtankar, very exalted devotee singing all the Vaishnava bhajans. I was fortunate to be in his association to do some Kirtan, like he's leading and I'm playing Kartal and following. And at the end of Narsingh Arti, he sang, Jaya Nara Hari, Amar Gaura Hari. I was thinking, oh, he's calling out to Nrsingadeva. At the same time, Mahaprabhu with the poetry on the word Hari. So this reminded me of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says 5 reasons. First reason, complexion like a lion, Mahaprabhu. Second, the hair is coming up to the shoulder. Third, just like the lion has broad chest and thin waist, we can see Mahaprabhu is the root of that quality. He has very broad chest. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadatau sankirtanai kapitaro kamalayatakshav vishwambaro dvijavaro yuga dharma palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. Very broad chest and thin waist. Mahaprabhu. That's the third reason. Fourth reason, Mahaprabhu appeared in Simha Rashi, Leo constellation on the astrological chart. And fifth, when a lion enters a den, which is infested with wild animals, let's say hyenas, jackals, and fox. And the lion enters the den and loudly roars like the king. What happens? All the wild animals, helplessly, they leave the den. They leave the cave, never to return again. And the lion takes over that cave. So similarly, our heart, Hridaya Kandare, Kaviraj Goswami uses this term. Anarpita charim chirat, karunaya avatirna kalo, samarpaitu munnato, jwalarasam swabhakti shriyam, hari purata sundara, dyutikadamba sandipita, sadaridaya kandare, spuratu vashacinandana. So the same thing Kaviraj Goswami says, Hari, as the golden lion, Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipitaha. Mahaprabhu appears as the golden complexioned lion. And therefore, Sada Hridaya Kandare. In the cave of our heart, which is infested with the jackals and hyenas and fox of material desires, let Shachinandana, Spuratuva Shachinandana, may the son of Shachimata as the lion enter the cave of our hearts and roar, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Very loudly, Mahaprabhu is proclaiming, roaring the holy name as the lion in the Sada Hridaya Kandare, in the cave of our heart. And all the wild animals in the form of material desires will run away, never to enter our cave again. Hridaya Kandara. And this golden lion called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Hari, Gaur Hari, he will take over this cave. And in this way, the first meaning of the word Hari is lion. Another very wonderful analysis of the word Hari is Sarvam Amangalam Hare, that the Lord takes away everything inauspicious. Recently, we had the good fortune of hearing Hari Katha from a very exalted Prabhupada disciple. So that very exalted Vaishnav, he told me about another Vaishnav. He said, this devotee, when he came to Jagannath Puri, somebody stole his wallet. And they took away some bag which had his passport and was an American citizen. So he didn't have anything in India. He didn't have money. He didn't have credit cards. He didn't have passport, nothing. Grihastha devotee from America, nothing to do in India. He just came to Jagannath Puri for darshan and he lost everything. So this exalted Vaishnava was telling me, this devotee, when he came to Jagannath Puri, he lost everything. So that devotee said, Maharaj, it was very painful. I had no shelter. So this very exalted sadhu, Maharaj said that, Yasyaham anugrihnami harishetad dhanam shanai. He quoted this verse. So that devotee said, I didn't understand what this verse meant. So Maharaj said that when Krishna wants to shower mercy, he will give whatever we ask for. But if he really wants to shower mercy, he will take away everything, everyone from all directions away in our life, so that we have nothing and no one to turn to except Krishna's lotus feet. Prabhupada also went through so much. We can see in Leelamrit how much Prabhupada went through, only to teach us. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Priya Bhakta Dware Anyera Shiksha Kare Aita Prakare. In the Bhakti Ratnakar it is described, pure Vaishnavas go through circumstances in life, not because of their prarabdha, not because of any graha or nakshatra or kala or karma, because Krishna teaches us through their example. So in this way, in our lives, everything that is inauspicious will be taken away by Krishna. Narayana nama naro naranam prasiddha chaura kathita prithivyam aneka janmarjita papa sanchayam harati ashesham shruti matrameva. In the Puranas, it is described that Krishna's name, Narayana's name, is such a big thief that harati ashesham shruti matrameva. Just by hearing these 4 syllables, Narayana, Mriyamano harer nama, Grinan putro pacharitaha, ajamilopya gadhama, kimuta shraddhaya grinan. Just by hearing these 4 syllables, which is the essence of the 4 Vedas, aneka janma arjita papa sanchayam, harati ashesham shruti matrameva. Even if we don't chant, just by hearing the holy name steals away all our sins. Everything that is inauspicious is taken away. And then when we are crying and weeping for Krishna, for help, when we take shelter of him, then what happens? Devanam api durlabham. He gives that which is rarely attained even for the demigods. That is service to his lotus feet. The greatest attainment. Vaikunthavasam athava narake nivasam ha vasudeva mamanasti gatistvadanya. In the Sri Sampradaya line 1, Acharya writes that, my Lord, you have 2 options. You can either send me to Vaikuntha or you can send me to hell. But I have only one option. That is to dance according to your decision. So in this way, Hari means to take away everything inauspicious. And by bhakti, prem diye hare man. Krishna initially makes us run after him as he gives us shelter. Then when he's bound by our ropes of love, he starts running after us. Not after us, not after me, but pure Vaishnavas when they are performing bhakti. Saratya parashada sevana sakya dautya veera sananu gamanastavana pranaman snigdeshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha Vishnu bhaktim kuruti nrupatish charanaravinde. Krishna runs after them and serves them so humbly. So this is Hari. And one more name that is there is Hara. So Krishna takes away everything inauspicious away from us. And she who steals his mind is Radharani. So Hari and Hara. Hari takes away our heart and gives service to his lotus feet. And Hara, Srimati Radharani, even steals Krishna's heart. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, while discussing about Radharani, first discusses about Krishna. It says, and shows how great Krishna is. And then Srila Prabhupada says, that same Krishna who's so exalted, he's attracted by Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he is Madana Mohan and she is Madana Mohana Mohini. So when we chant Hare Krishna in the japa every day, Hare is Sambodhanatmak, which means invocatory call to both Hari and Hara. So by chanting Hare, we call out in one mood, we call out to Krishna, take away everything inauspicious in my life. please, my Lord, I offer my heart to you. Please accept my very existence at your lotus feet. And another meaning is, Hare means Radhe. Oh, Radharani, please engage me in the service of the Vaishnavas. Like that. So this is the first word. Hari, Hari. Then Mukunda. What does the word Mukunda mean? Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnurevana Samshayam. The giver of liberation is called Mukunda. This is the meaning, that he gives us liberation from everything that we suffer from. Another meaning of the word Mukunda, Mu means Mukham, mouth. And Kunda means Kunda flower. In Goloka Vrindavan, there is a very special white, small bud-like flower. It is called as Kunda, and it has the fragrance of the freshly blossomed jasmine. It is considered to be a very wonderful flower. Kunda. So Mu means Mukha, and Kunda means buds of jasmine flower. So he whose smile reveals series and rows of white jasmine bud-like teeth. Krishna's teeth are like rows of small bud white jasmine flowers. Kunda. So Mu Kunda. He whose mouth is filled with bud-like teeth. Sunasikagra mauktikam swachanda danta panktikam navambudanga chikkanam namami nandanandanam. Our acharyas describe all glories to the son of Nanda Maharaj. In the Aishwarya mood, in the opulent mood, it is described that his teeth are effulgent like rows of pearls. And in the sweet mood of Vrindavan, it is described that they are as beautiful as rows of white jasmine flowers. So therefore, another meaning is Mukunda. Now the third meaning of the word Mukunda, Mukunda, 4 aspects. Mukunda. So Mu means Mukti. And very specifically here, we are not talking about Salokya, Sashti, Samipya, but here in this definition, the word Mukti is defined as Ekatvam, the desire to become one with God, to become Bhagavan. Tattvamasi, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Pragyana Brahma, this conception. This is called Mukti. Mu means Mukti. Ku means Kupsita. Kupsita means disgust. And means Ananda. And Da means Dadati, to give. He who gives so much joy through his service that the desire to become him sounds disgusting. Santa Tukaram, a very great saint in the 17th century, he writes a song in Marathi which translates as follows, that if we are all sugar, then who is tasting whom? If God and the living entity are one and the same, and if everybody is sugar, then who is tasting whom? He writes in that same song that if there is no difference between mother and child, then who is feeling the affection? If there is separation between mother and child, and then there is union, who is feeling what? If they are the same, there is no rasa. To feel some emotion, there must be 2 sides to the story. There must be a lover, there must be a beloved in all rasas. So similarly, there must be difference. There must be separation in the identity. Yes, we are parts and parcels, Prabhupada explained. We are one in quality, but different in quantity. We cannot become God. So therefore, Tukaram Maharaj says, please never again speak about the disgusting nature of oneness. Pure oneness, only oneness. Not Achintya Veda, but we are talking about saying that I am God. So therefore, Mu means Mukti, to become one with God. And Ku means Kupsita, disgust. Means Ananda. And Da means Dadati. He who gives so much joy. Salokya Sarshti Samipya. Diyamanam na grihnanti vina mat sevanam jana. Bhagavatam describes without the bhakti rasa, the devotees don't want anything from the Lord. Ami vidnya ei murkhe vishay kene dibo. Nija charanamrita diya vishay bhulaiba. Ama bhaje vishay mage ei bodo murkh. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes. If somebody worships Krishna with a desire to become him, this is very dangerous. Instead, we serve Krishna with the desire to eternally serve. One time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, What do you expect out of the process of chanting? Prabhupada said, we chant to continuously chant forever. The ladder and the fruit, the sadhana and the sadhya are the same. So therefore, Mukunda, this word means he who gives so much joy to the devotee that the desire to become God will never rise in the heart of the devotee. Absolutely no. And this word is so dear that King Kulashekar wrote a whole book offering it to Mukunda, called as the Mukunda Mala Stotra. Stotra comes from the root word stu, which means to glorify. So garlands of glorification are offered at the service of Mukunda. We can see so many verses in Mukunda Mala Stotra have the word Mukunda. The first verse, Sri Vallabheti Varadeti Dayapareti Bhakta Priyeti Bhavalunthana Kovideti Natheti Nagashayaneti Jagannivaseti Alapinam Pratidinam Kuru Mam Mukunda. Then in the second verse also we can see Jayatu Jayatu Prithvi Bhara Nasho Mukunda. And in the third verse he says Mukunda Murna Pranipatya Yache. He has so much attachment to this word Mukunda that first three verses have the word Mukunda. Then after description of the Lord in different forms, at the end he says Mukunda Mala Patatam Naranam Ashesha Saukhyam Labhate na Kasvit Samasta Papa Kshayametya Dehi Prayati Vishnu Paramam Padam Tat. That if someone chants the name of Mukunda in the Mukunda Mala Stotra, three things will happen. Sins will be destroyed, unlimited spiritual bliss will flood the heart, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, and Prayati Vishnu Paramam Padam Tat. One will go back home, back to God, just by chanting the name Mukunda. Even in the context of Ambarish Maharaj's Charitra, there Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnanam Karor Harer Mandira Marjanadishu Shrutim Chakara Chutasat Katodhaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishav Tadbhritya Gatra Sparashenga Sangamam Granam Chatatpada Saroja Saurabhe Srimat Tulasya Rasanata Darpite. There also the word Mukunda has been used. So it's a very dear word. Even Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, in one verse he writes, Radha Mukunda Padasambhava Karma Bindhu. While describing Radha and Krishna, he says, Radharani with Mukunda, Krishna. So in this way, Mukunda is a very nice name of Krishna. So Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda. Then after that, the word is Murari. So Mura is a demon and Ari means enemy. So enemy of Mura is Murari. One time I went to one temple and I asked for the Wi-Fi password to connect to my laptop. And the devotee said the password is Ravanari. So I did not hear. I initially heard Ravana. So I asked the devotee, Ravana? He said, no, Ravanari. So then I said, okay, I understood that this is the name of Sri Ramachandra, who is the killer of Ravana. So in this way, we can see that we can add the word Ari to any demon's name and we can get the name of the Lord. Like there is another name of the Lord called as Putanari. He who killed Putana is Putanari. So there is actually one very beautiful verse also with the name Putanari. Pankhabhishikta sakala vayavam vilokya damodaram vadati kopa vashad yashoda tvam sukarosi gatajanmani putanare ityukta sasvita mukho vatuno murari. It describes that when Krishna was dressed so beautifully as a baby by Mother Yashoda, she took such wonderful care that the Krishna's fragrance and beauty, eyes, kajal, palms, ornaments, flower garlands, peacock feather, everything perfect. She decked up Krishna so wonderfully and sent him to the forest with the friends. And when Krishna came back, he was covered with cow dung and cow urine and fresh and dry mud. And he had his eyes closed and he was knocking the door. Mother Yashoda saw this little cute mountain of mud. She said, who are you? And he was blinking his eyes and saying, oh, mother, this is me. So Mother Yashoda immediately asked Krishna that, Krishna, what have you done to yourself? Were you a pig in your last life? Tvam sukarosi gata janmani putanare, O killer of Putana, O Putanari, gata janmani, in your past life, tvam sukarosi, were you a pig? Meaning that why are you decking yourself like this? But Krishna said, oh, my mother knows me from past life. Yes, mother, I was a pig. I was Varahadev. Shri Varahadev ki jai. This is the classic example that Janayati asu vairagyam jnanam yacha haitukam. That whenever there is prema bhakti jaha hoite, avidya vinasha jate. That wherever there is love for Krishna, all transcendental knowledge, vidya vadu jivanam, is revealed in the heart. So Mother Yashoda, because she's a pure devotee, as a mother, eternal mother of Krishna, she knows Krishna. So Krishna, he is thinking to himself, when I knocked the door, I was thinking whether my mother knows me in this life, because I'm dressed like this. But my mother is so advanced that not just in this life, she knows me over lifetimes. She could know that I am actually Varahadev. But Mother Yashoda didn't ask like that. She asked out of Matra Sneha, out of Vatsalya Prem. So Ityukta Sasmita Mukha. Listening to these words of Mother Yashoda, Krishna smiled. So there the word used is Tvam Sukarosi Gata Janmani Putanare. Oh, killer of Putana, were you a pig in past life? So there we can see Putana plus Ari, Putanari. Similarly, you can see the word Ravanari. Ravana plus Ari, Ravanari. Similarly, Baka plus Ari, Bakari. Kamsa plus Ari, Kamsari. There is a verse, Kamsari api samsara vasana baddha shrinkhala radham adaya hridaya tatyaja vraja sundarim. That he who killed Kamsa is Kamsari. So in this way, the word here is Murari. Sometimes this word is used in sarcasm also. Because the word Mura also means very sweet, loving relationship that Krishna has with his devotees. This is also called Mura in Vrindavan. Not the demon, but Prem. Krishna Prem is also called Mura. So let's say if Krishna tells his friends that I will meet you at certain time at Govardhan, and if he comes late, then the friends call Krishna Murari. Why? Because if you were a friend to Prema Bhakti, then you would have come on time to see your devotees, your friends. But because you're an enemy to that mood, you have come late. Meaning in a very sweet way of glorifying Krishna, at the same time sarcastic glorification. So Vakra Ukti. These are called words of sarcasm. So by saying Murari, oh killer of Mura, that is outside Vrindavan. But in Vrindavan, when Krishna comes late for some pastime, they will say, oh, you may have, I think you're an enemy of Sakhyaras or Vatsalyaras or Madhuryaras. This is why you have come late, because you don't like to be with us. So you're Mura plus Ari, Murari. Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari, then Rama. Very, very beautiful word, Rama. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmani iti Rama pade naasau parabrahma vidhiyate. That Lord at whose lotus feet millions and millions of akrishti kritachetasam sumanasam uchatanam chamhasam, very, very great exalted munis and yogis and bhaktas, suridas, devatas, who are so fine-tuned that nothing material enters their ear hole, nothing material enters their eye, nothing material enters their nostril, nothing material enters their mouth, nothing material attracts the sense of touch. But when Sri Ram walked through the forest, all of them got up, because Ramachandra's form, Ramachandra's words, his glancing, it penetrated through all their senses and took over their consciousness. This is Rama. So when Srila Prabhupada was asked about in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, who's Rama? Prabhupada said, who do you think is Rama? And one devotee said, Sitapati Rama. Another devotee said, Parashurama. Another person said, Balarama. And when Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada said, all of them. The holy names of Krishna and Ramachandra, they include everything. Our acharyas describe, Prabhupada has described that Rama refers to Balarama in one context. So when we chant, Rama can refer to Balarama. Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur say that Rama referred to Radha Ramana, Krishna. Radha Radhita Radhesha Radhika Pranavallabha Radha Ramana Vandetvam Radhika Prema Nirjita. That we bow down to Radha Raman, Radhika Raman Shri Krishna. Like in Punjabi Bagh, ISKCON temple, the deities are Radhika Ramana, Radha Radhika Ramana. So when I go there and I see the deities, I remember this is Radha, Radhika Ramana means Rama in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, like that. So that is one meaning. We can meditate while chanting, calling out to Krishna. Another sweet meaning of Sri Ram Nam is Rakara Srimati Radha Makara Madhusudano Dwayo Vigraha Samyogat Ramanama Itikila. Sometimes Krishna Bhaktas may think that why I'm chanting Ram when I am devotee of Krishna. Not ISKCON devotees, but sometimes outside they may think like that. I am Krishna Bhakta, why I should chant the name of Ram? But in the Puranas, it has been described Rama. These two syllables, Ra refers to Radharani and Ma refers to Madhusudan, Krishna. So when we serve Radha and Krishna together, that is Ram Leela, Rama. Both of them in the form of two syllables are coming together. So in our temple also, when we see Radha Krishna, this is Rama. Ra means Radharani and Ma means Madhava or Madhusudana, the name of Krishna. So this is Rama. And this name is so divine that in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami describes, if someone says Raja Mahishi, Raja Mahishi means king and queen in Sanskrit. He says, but Ramachandra, Sri Ram, is so eager to give us the glory of chanting his holy name that he takes the first syllable from both words. So Ra from Raja, Ma from Mahishi, and he gives it together as Rama. If someone says Halam Riktam, the movement of the plow, Halam Riktam, then Krishna takes Ha from Halam, Ri from Riktam, and gives us the benefit of chanting Hari. Similarly, Raja Mahishi, Ra from Raja, Ma from Mahishi, we get the benefit of chanting Rama. If Krishna gives us benefit by taking syllables from different words, imagine what we will get by chanting the name. Damstri damstra hatom lecho haram iti punaha uktvapi muktim apnoti kim punashraddhaya grinan. Srila Haridas Thakur has also mentioned this, that if the mlecha dies chanting haram, then he also gets the benefit of chanting haram. So in this way, then how much more when someone actually calls out to Ramachandra or Shri Krishna as Ram or Balaram or Parshuram, like that. So this is Rama. The next word is Krishna. Krishi bhuvachako shabdo nascha nivritti vachaka tvayoraikyam parabrahma Krishna iti avidhiyate. This verse comes from the Mahabharata, quoted in the Shat Sandarbhas and in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Prabhupada also quotes it in the purport many times. So this is the definition of the word Krishna. Krishna means the greatest and the sweetest coming together. We can see many times in this world, people become great, but they are not the greatest. And when we think of deities which are the greatest, they may not be the sweetest. Children in this world may be sweet, not sweetest, and at the same time, they are not the greatest. But Krishna, when he comes as a baby, he is the greatest, yet at the same time, the sweetest. So this is Krishna, the source of everything, coming to taste the love of the devotees. This is Krishna. And he's very attractive, all attractive. Drishtva tape vrajapashun saharama gopaihi sancharayantam anuvenu mudirayantam prema pravruddha udita kusumavali sakhyu vyadatsva vapushambuda atapatram. In the Bhagavatam, it has been described when Krishna is walking from forest to forest with Balaram and his friends, and it is very hot. The clouds start thinking. Hearing Krishna's flute sound and seeing Krishna's form, he's so attractive. Rupa Goswami Pad says, Tri Jagan Manasakrashi. Krishna is so attractive that he can attract the hearts and the minds of living entities in the whole creation. Asamartho Urdhva Rupa Shri, Asama Urdhva Rupa Shri, Vismapita Characharam. Krishna is so attractive that he can make Yamuna like a rock of Govardhan, stunned. And he can melt the rock of Govardhan and make it flow like Yamuna. That is how attractive Krishna is. So in this verse, it is described Krishna's form and his flute playing is so attractive that when Krishna is walking from forest to forest with his brother and with his cows, and the sun is scorching, the clouds being attracted by Krishna, they think, oh, one of our family member is on the floor. He is also cloud. Meghasham, Navajaladharsham. Krishna is Ghanashyam. Ghanashyama Sundara Krishna. So one of our clouds is down and he's being scorched by the heat of the sun. So what we should do? We should all hold hands. Just like sometimes when great personalities come, we all do human chain. So similarly, all the clouds started doing human chain and they connected to each other and they blocked the sun. So Vrindavan became completely covered by the clouds. Then the clouds thought, this is protection on one level, but we have to do one more thing. We should serve him with very sweet, wonderful water. So they started raining, but very small raindrops, blissful dewdrops, very, very blissful. And so much so that Kusumavali bihi, It seemed as if demigods are offering flowers, but it was actually raindrops given by the clouds after blocking the sun and the heat. Now they are cooling Krishna's body through water. Why are they doing that? Because he's Krishna. He's all attractive. Krishna can attract everything and everyone, including Mahavishnu, including Lakshmi at Belwan, including himself. Krishna gets attracted. Aparikalita purvam kaschamatkara. Our Acharya is right. What chamatkar is this? That Krishna gets attracted to himself. He tells Mother Yashoda, today I made friendship with a very beautiful boy. Mother Yashoda said, Acha, what is his name? He said, his name is also Krishna. And I asked him about his mother. His mother's name is also Yashoda. And he also lives. Mother Yashoda said, where is that boy? Krishna held Mother Yashoda's hand and took it to his own reflection without realizing that that is actually his reflection. Krishna is so attractive that he gets attracted to himself, not in pride, but in innocence. So this is how attractive Krishna is. Everything about him is so attractive. His pastimes are attractive. His names are attractive. His forms are attractive. You can see in our ISKCON temples, as soon as we see the deity at Sringararti, our eyes, they get pacified. Darshanam no dridikshunam dehi bhagavatarchitam rupam. This form, sarvendriya gunanjanam, it satisfies and gives peace to all of our senses just by having darshan. Krishna is so beautiful. When we have cleanliness and punctuality dipped with devotion on the side of the pujari, that can be reflected on the deity. And the whole community can take darshan, not just of the deities, but also the pujari's devotion to the Lord can be seen by taking darshan. So Krishna is very attractive through his flute sound, through his form, through his names, his abode, his pastimes, his devotees. Everything is very attractive. And finally, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Haya Griva. Haya means horse and Griva means throat, just like the word Sugriva. Su means Sushtu, very attractive. And Griva means throat. He who has a very attractive singing and calling out of devotion is called Sugriva. Similarly, Hayagriva. We know the Lord took the horse incarnation and therefore he is half, he has the face of the transcendental face of a horse. So people will believe Spider-Man, half man, half spider. They will believe Iron Man, half iron. They will believe Batman, half man, half bat. But they will not believe half man, half lion, half man, half horse. Krishna can take all incarnations. Krishna can take all incarnations. So in this way we can see Vedanuddharate, Jaganti Vahate, Bhugolam Udbibrate, Daityam Dharayate, Balim Chalayate, Kshatrakshayam Kurvate, Paulastyam Jayate, Halam Halayate, Karunyam Atanvate, Mlechan Murchayate, Dashakriti Krite, Krishnaya Tubhyam Namaha. This way we bow down to the Dashavatar and all the wonderful names of Krishna in all these incarnations. So this was just the first verse. So many more verses to go. But in the interest of time, I will pause here. Any mistakes that I may have committed, I have definitely committed. Not I may have, definitely. It is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita also that Vipralipsa, that Brahma Pramada Vipralipsa Karana Patava Arsha Vitnya Vakya Nahi Dosha Isava. Only pure Vaishnavas are free from Vachaskalanam, the slip of the tongue. So whatever mistakes I have committed, philosophical deviations, grammatical mistakes in communication, or very distorted flow of speaking, lack of systematic organization, please, all of you may kindly forgive me. And please, like Rajahamsa, you can take the milk of the essence and leave the water of my mistakes behind. I offer my obeisances repeatedly to all the Vaishnavas who have assembled. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Your lecture was spotless. Nirdosh. Amarendra, very wonderful. So this song, Vibhav Rishesha, they sing in Vrindavan every morning, isn't it? So Srila Prabhupada told them to sing, is it, every morning begin with that, and then they go to samsara, I think, after that, is it?
I don't know, Prabhuji, whether Srila Prabhupada instructed.
But I never knew there are so many deep meanings of each word that you so eloquently explained. Very wonderful. I think you should continue this and tell the meanings of the other verses also in the time to come. Very wonderful it was. Very wonderful. I'm attending this class first time, and because I go out of Pune a lot, and now today happened to be your class. I was very blessed today. Anybody wants to ask a question? One question to Amarendra Prabhu, quick. Nectar.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this beautiful description of the holy names of the Lord. Just wanted to ask that in a country
I am
like
not able to clearly see, but by the voice, I'm asking this question. Is it Revatipati Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu, your servant.
Govinda, Krishna. My offering my obeisances, Prabhuji. I'm sorry, I
Right.
did not know you're also in the assembly, but by the voice I could.
I am blessed you remember my voice also. Very beautiful class, very beautiful description of the holy names and the qualities of the Lord. Just this question came to my mind that like we see the Lord is so merciful that he takes the first syllables of the mixed word like Hari and Ram we described. So in India, we see there are so many shops which have like, Krishna sweets and so many names are there. So in general, people in India, what benefit do they get by this? Because when you try to preach, oftentimes people are confused and it doesn't look like that they're awakened or they are ready for devotion service. So what kind of exact benefit they actually drive by this kind of general, I mean, all over India, it's there. In every part of India, the names are like that for many institutes and all. So can you throw some light on this, that actually what benefit actually happens to the masses in this way? As far as preaching is concerned, even book distribution, they don't take books or they don't come for program and things like that. Sometimes they have like many, I mean, they may have like a wine shop in the name of the Lord, something like that. These things are very commonly coming in India these days, or, hotel, bar, like that. So the names of the Lord are there and people are like seeing them, they're keeping them. So how do they get benefited and how we can appreciate them?
Yes, so Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Krishna Nama Kori Aparadira Vichar. That there are, as we know, there is offensive chanting of the holy name. Offensive chanting of the holy name means the tongue is chanting Sanketyam Parihasyam, but at the same time, the activities are Yaha Shastra Vidimutsrujya, Vartate Kamakaratah, Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti, Na Sukham Na Paramgatim. Krishna says if you break scriptural regulation means Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti. One will not have Siddhi. Na Sukham, no joy, na Paramgatim. Forget about material, complete emancipation. So the holy name definitely works. But to reap the complete benefit, one has to give up sinful activities. This is very, very important because namno balat yasya cha papa buddhi is what most people do. They chant with the tongue. We are talking even about devotees, that we may commit some sinful activities. And what to speak of the mass? So by calling their wine shop as Balaji Wines, they are getting the benefit of chanting Balaji, but they are using that name for what? So that the sales of the wines will increase. So this is a sin. As a result, the holy name doesn't reveal his full potency. Just like when Ravana came as a sadhu, Mother Sita also cheated him by throwing a Maya form, Chaya Sita, not actual Sita. So we cannot trick the Lord. If we approach the Lord with duplicity, the holy name will also throw in a Maya cover, which means we will chant, but we will not get the actual fruit. So we have to asat sanga chhadi. We have to give up. Krishnera samsara kari chhadi anachar. Jive daya Krishnanam sarva dharmasar. So for the holy name to completely fructify, we have to give up sinful activities. This is why Prabhupada never compromised on the 4 regulative principles. Other sadhus and yogis, they said, do whatever you want. You just add the holy name or you add this spiritual. Prabhupada said, no, first you have to give up sin. So this is why even when they are given opportunity, the consciousness is not fertile because sinful activities are performed. And so performing sinful activities is not a disqualification, but the desire to give up sinful activities must be there. You see, when hippies, they joined Prabhupada, they had a history of performing sinful activities, but they were ready to give it up. Then the holy name worked. But if we want to do both, even in the Bible, Jesus says that you cannot serve God and flesh with the same hand. You cannot do both. Our consciousness is like wood. And if we want the fire of bhakti to rise, then we should not have it wet with the waters of sense gratification. So that is why they don't fructify. So what benefit do they get? The benefit that they get is by that chanting, they will meet book distributors. Now the book distributors will fight it hard to penetrate through their consciousness. What the holy name retracts and says, no, I will not do, the devotee does. Therefore, the devotee is more merciful than the holy name. Because the holy name says, I will not fructify in the heart of a sinful person. But what it does is, it at least brings one to the presence of Harinam Sankirtan or Rath Yatra or book distributors and prasadam distributors and ISKCON temples. He will get the opportunity. Now the preacher will have to fight because it is a battlefield. And this is why there is more gratitude in our life to our spiritual master and Prabhupada and all our acharyas, more than Krishna. And the classic example of that is Mother Sita. She was in Ashok Vatika, and Ramchandra could have come and saved her. But only when a Hanuman came, crossed over the ocean and came to Ashok Vatika and met with Mother Sita, then the bridge was built and Sri Ram came. So similarly, we as living entities, we are living in the Ashok Vatika of this world, of the material body, and we have Ram sitting next as Paramatma. How many lifetimes have gone, but there is no help. But only when Hanuman in the form of Srila Prabhupada and spiritual master, they cross the ocean from Golok Vrindavan, they come here. After that, meeting with Krishna becomes very easy. So the holy name is Krishna. He is giving us the Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. So the holy name gives the opportunity to associate with the devotees. Now the devotee has to do the work. The preacher has to do the work of invading into the kingdom of the heart of the conditioned soul and establishing the deity of Krishna. If the person is coming from a saintly background, or let's say is ready to give up sin, then the preacher doesn't have to fight because the person is completely fertile. He will go and he will search that, can you tell me more about Krishna? And the preacher then gives him books and it's very easy. So the holy name has done the work because the person has given up sin. But if he doesn't give up sin, holy name will bring one to the devotee, and then the devotee has to fight. And on behalf of Prabhupada, of course, and our acharyas. I am simply blabbering something, but His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu can correct me and invade into the kingdom of my heart and drive away the jackals of my misconceptions.
Thank you very much, Amarendra Prabhu. Very kind of you for giving your valuable time to devotees in Pune here. You know, when are you coming to India this year?
Sometime next year, Prabhuji.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, right.
Right. I am coming to Atlanta. I'll meet you this time.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mostly in October, I'll meet you.
Definitely, Prabhuji. Please come.
Thank you. I had told Sri Chandra Prabhu to invite you, and your coming is giving a tremendous inspiration to our devotees. I was also thinking if we can make this program open to the congregation in Pune, because your speech is so nectarian, many congregation will also relish it. I will talk to devotees here because today's katha was so enlivening. It is so divine. It is many of the people, devotees in the houses would like to join also. Thank you very much. Amarendra Prabhu ki, Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.